When a national system fails, what do you picture? Chaos everywhere? A total, fast, and uncontrollable collapse? That's the movie version, but that's not how real systems fail. In reality, order doesn't disappear uniformly. It retreats. It concentrates. And in some places, it keeps working long after the rest of the country breaks down. In this video, you're going to see where order still works after a national failure, why some regions remain governed while others spiral into chaos, and how infrastructure, geography, and access decide whether control survives or vanishes. This isn't about hope, and it's not about optimism. It's about structure. Because when systems fail, order doesn't come from force. It comes from where pressure never fully arrives. Order survives where pressure can't accumulate. Most people imagine collapse as a switch. On, off, working, broken. But collapse behaves more like a gradient. Some areas lose services immediately. Others degrade slowly. And a few remain functional far longer than anyone expects. The difference isn't leadership. It isn't culture. And it isn't preparation. It's system load. Where demand overwhelms infrastructure, order dissolves. Where demand stays below capacity, order holds. Capacity decides everything. So where do these places exist? The regions where order still works share the same structural traits. They have fewer entry points, lower population density, simpler infrastructure networks, and limited exposure to mass inflows of people. These places don't need strict enforcement or a permanent state of emergency because the pressure on them never spikes high enough to break control. When movement is slow, when demand for resources is manageable, systems don't panic. They adapt. Now let's map where this actually happens. When you map out system stress, a clear pattern emerges. Interior regions, high-latitude zones, areas far from major transport choke points. These places aren't immune to the failure, but they are insulated from its most intense effects. In these areas, fuel is rationed, not stolen. Power is limited, not lost. Movement is restricted, not chaotic. Order here doesn't look dramatic, it looks boring. And that's exactly the point. Stability comes from avoiding the crush. Now let's compare this to where order collapses first. Contrast those insulated zones with high-density urban hubs. These are places totally dependent on constant fuel inflow, uninterrupted logistics, and real-time coordination. When a national failure hits these regions, demand doesn't fall. It spikes. People rush to get supplies to get out to find safety. And once the infrastructure exceeds its capacity, the rules simply stop working. Not because people suddenly become bad, but because the systems that enforce order can no longer function. Under the immense strain, the timing of this process makes it irreversible. In the first few days of a crisis, order looks intact almost everywhere. In the first week, you start to see the cracks appear. After a month, the difference is permanent. Some regions will have stabilized into a state of controlled scarcity, where things are tough but predictable. Others will never recover a baseline of order. At that point, movement is no longer a choice. It's a desperate necessity for those trapped in the chaos. So what does all of this mean for you? This analysis isn't meant to spread fear or to predict a specific collapse. It's about helping you understand where order actually functions when large-scale systems fail. Survival isn't random. And stability isn't a moral quality, it's structural. It's about where you are on the map of system pressure. If this analysis helped you understand how failure really spreads, consider subscribing. This channel exists to map where systems break, where they hold, and where survival remains possible. Now I want to ask you, if a national failure happened tomorrow, would order still work where you live? Let me know in the comments. This is 0 Hour Atlas. We don't predict doom. We map what survives.